This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Luke Sylvia and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic! What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is December 8th, 2022. The Magic have finally won a game. Luke Sylvia, what's going on?
Won a game. Look at that. Mosley, he's been saying it. You just need to get that one, and then we can go from there. Magic got the one. We'll see what the games ahead bring, but I feel better than I did the last time we were here.
Yeah, honestly, like I put this in the post-game video, and I've talked about it with you and Kevin. Like, I hate losing more than I like or love to win. And tonight, it just felt good to not lose. Like, just really, like, sure, it's great to get the win, but not being the losing team tonight, to me, is even a little bit better. So we're recording this just about 11 o'clock Wednesday night after the Magic's overtime win at home over the Los Angeles Clippers. We will get into that game. We're also going to talk about the Magic's loss on Monday against the Milwaukee Bucks as well. But before we do that, we do have a couple of things to take care of. First of all, coming up, not this coming Friday, but the following Friday, the 16th, the Magic are taking on the Boston Celtics. The Magic will be in Boston. So we are having another watch party that we are partnering with the Orlando Magic and Michelob Ultra. This time we're going to be at Cavo's Bar and Kitchen, which is located at 900 East Washington Street. Again, that is going to be the 16th. The watch party starts at 7 o'clock. Tip-off will be 7:30 for the Magic versus the Celtics. So if you guys are in the area, please make sure you come out. The Magic always do giveaways. Usually they have a DJ there playing music. Obviously, there's going to be great food at Cavo's, and I'm sure there will be some Michelob Ultra specials as well. So make sure that you guys come out. It's going to be a great time. Again, that's going to be at Cavo's Bar and Kitchen, 900 East Washington Street.
And I want Jonathan to interject here real quick. I've got the menu pulled up. I know people love the food.
Link.
People love the food. And let's see here. One second here. I'm just going to send this to you, all right? I'm going to send it in the chat. But I have my eye
I've got it now.
on
I've
something
got it up
here.
in front of me. I'm looking.
I'm interested in the pizza steak sandwich. Little thinly sliced ribeye and sauteed onions and homemade marinara, top of provolone on a fresh baked hoagie roll.
That looks like a problem. That also looks like heartburn city for me.
That's fine. It helps me celebrate a win or grieve in a loss eating that thing. So that's a second half dish for me, I think.
That looks fantastic. The meatball sandwich looks incredible.
Can never go wrong.
The roast pork Italiano, seasoned pork with fresh garlic, rosemary, cracked black pepper, slow roasted and carved thin, served with sauteed spinach, provolone, roasted red peppers, topped with pecorino romano on a fresh baked hoagie roll. Are you serious, Cavos? Oh, you and me are going to tango next Friday night. Again, December 16th, 7 o'clock, Cavo's Bar and Kitchen, 900 East Washington Street. See you there. Let's get into the state of the Magic so far this week. The Magic are 1-1, 500, with a chance to maybe even have a winning week this week. Who knows? I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But it brings them to a record on the season of 6-20. They do have the worst record in the league. The Magic have an offensive rating of 108.8, which ranks 27th in the league. And if you're not familiar with these ratings, basically what we're talking about, offensive rating is how many points per 100 possessions do the Magic score? And the Magic, they have a defensive rating, which is how many points do they give up per 100 possessions. They have a defensive rating of 115, which ranks 27th in the league. And then their overall net rating is negative 6.1, which is 27th in the league. Looking at the injury report, Jonathan Isaac remains out as he rehabs from his left ACL tear. Chuma Okeke is still out with knee soreness.
Okay.
Chuma Okeke. Why do I always do that? Man, they're going to kill me for this one. Chuma OKK, folks. I owe somebody out there, I owe Chuma probably like $20 if we're making like an OKK swear jar. I'm really sorry, Chuma. He doesn't like me, but it's okay. Wendell Carter Jr. is still out with the plantar fascia strain. Jalen Suggs, he's still out with the right ankle soreness. And then Gary Harris is still out with the hamstring injury. We do have an update on Jonathan Isaac. Pretty exciting. On Tuesday, Kobe Price reported that Jonathan Isaac is going to be practicing with the Lakeland Magic in Lakeland just to get some run, to get some 5-on-5. It's the next part of his rehab. He met with the media on Tuesday in the Advent Health Training Center and basically said, he played one quarter, 12 minutes with the Lakeland Magic. They had a couple of breaks in between, but he said he felt pretty good. He started to get a little bit tired at the end, but it was just good to finally get out there against other professional basketball players and run and bang and jump and everything like that. And it's going to take time for everything to come back for him, he said, but he feels good, Luke, and it's pretty exciting. It was funny, Luke, that I tweeted on Monday because Kemba Walker was playing or practicing, I think, with the Texas Legends. I think it's the Dallas Mavericks G League affiliate. And I tweeted that we need to normalize NBA players having G League rehab assignments. And then on Tuesday, we find out that Jonathan Isaac basically is getting somewhat of a rehab assignment with the Lakeland Magic.
I hope that we're able to get not just photos from him rehabbing in Lakeland. I want footage. I don't know who can go. I don't know who can make it happen, but I'd love to see footage against Jonathan Isaac running against the G League players, obviously in Lakeland, and see what he's doing. I will be highly anticipating those videos.
And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, you could set up a camera and film for all 12 of those minutes and just pick out one or two. If he scores, post it. People will get excited about that.
Or he's blocking shots into the wall.
I would love that very much.
Yeah.
I do think that we should normalize like guys that are rehabbing getting some
100%.
time in the G League. Like his rookie year, as he was working back from the ankle injury, I believe he played, a game or a couple of games, it might have been, with the Lakeland Magic. And we see this all the time in other sports. I know it's very common in baseball that a guy, as he's rehabbing from injury, like get him some live game action against, let's call it what it is, lesser competition. Help him get his rhythm back a little bit. Help him get his confidence back a little bit. I don't know why more teams don't do that. People make the argument that they don't want these guys getting hurt in meaningful games. Guys can get hurt at any time in practice, in summer runs. Obviously, we saw Chet Holmgren get hurt in the Pro-Am this past year. Like that kind of stuff can happen at any time. Kind of hiding these guys from live action, I don't think is the best idea. But it sounds like Jonathan is still a little bit ways away. I don't know how quickly we're going to see him back playing for the Orlando Magic. I know we've been talking about this for 2.5 years now, and it feels super repetitive, and I know it's frustrating, but it is a good sign that he continues to progress, and this is going to give him more of an opportunity to work on that conditioning and get back to game shape. The guy hasn't played in 2.5 years, so super exciting. Now, Monday, before the Bucks game, during Jamal Mosley's pregame availability, Kobe Price, I thought, did a great job of really probing Jamal for information on what exactly is going on with Jalen, because the right ankle soreness that he's dealing with, it is the ankle that he had surgery on at the beginning of the summer that I think was like a stress fracture or something like that in the ankle that he had surgery on. And Jamal basically told the media that Jalen's ankle, has been pretty sore for a while now. I'm guessing it started against Atlanta, that second game of the season on the road. And it's been sore for a while. And even though he's been sitting now for a handful of games, it's still pretty sore. So it sounds like they're trying to figure out what exactly is going on with that. And it being the injury, or the ankle that had surgery, I think causes, a little bit more concern there, Luke.
Yeah. Interesting to see. I mean, great job by Kobe. You said it in our group chat this morning with me, you, and Kev, and you were just like, "Man, Kobe's been killing it," and you're right. I mean, the one-on-ones that he's been doing, the way that he conducts himself in the press conferences, really impressed by Kobe's ability to just kind of step into the role. Not having covered a team in the NBA before and doing what he's doing. I'm assuming making great connections, getting inside information, whatever it may be, but just like developing relationships with players, allowing them to feel comfortable enough to do one-on-ones. Jamal to getting these questions, these answers out of Jamal with his thought-provoking questions, asking the questions that other people don't want to ask. I mean, goes a long way, and Kobe gets to do it day in and day out. So hats off to him. I mean, good to have somebody like that's willing to do that and put himself out there. Now, that being said, you learn some things for better or for worse, and you learn that Jalen just has had this nagging ankle injury for a while now, and it does make you wonder, how long will Jalen be out for the Magic? Because it feels like the way this front office handles things, in the past, even this season, they've rushed. I don't know if they've rushed. That's probably not the right word. Jalen has come back quickly from injury. We've been like, oh man, this guy's like the Wolverine. And now Mosley saying that, and just the way that he delivered it and those sort of things makes you wonder, are the Magic going to keep him out for a while now to this point and give Jalen a little bit of a break? His body in general, I'm sure his body's hurting at this point in the season regardless. So we'll see how the Magic handle it. I won't be shocked if he's out longer than fans want him to be.
Which is typically the case. And it's especially concerning because, he was like playing on that ankle and then, missed the second half a few games ago. I don't remember off the top of my head what game it was exactly. But my thought was like, oh, like he might miss this game. He might miss a couple of games and then he'll be back. But the longer that he's been out, and then we got that additional information from Jamal Mosley, definitely a bit more concerning. And it seems like he's going to be out, longer than perhaps I anticipated at least. But to be fair, that's usually the case. Like these guys are always out longer than I personally anticipate. So that's why you should not come to me for Magic injury opinions. To your point about, Kobe's just been doing such a great job. Not all beat writers are created equal. And the fact that we were able to go from the legend Josh Robbins and like now we have Kobe Price, like could not be more lucky in terms of like having guys to cover your favorite team. So obviously Josh did a great job for a long, long time, and Kobe's just absolutely crushing it right now. Super grateful that dude covers our team. A last bit of injury update here. Mo Bamba, who's missed the last handful of games with the nagging back injury, he returned to the lineup Wednesday versus the Clippers. All right, before we get into these games, Luke, let's go ahead and shout out our patrons. If you have not heard, we do have a Patreon channel. You can find us at patreon.com/the6manshow, where we have 3 tiers of benefits that you can choose from to help financially support the show and really allow us to do everything that we do, including upgrading equipment, doing awesome giveaways for our patrons, and not even always for our patrons. Sometimes we just do it for our Twitter followers and listeners and everything like that. So again, if you're interested, you can find us at patreon.com/the6manshow. We do have a brand new patron this week that I want to give a special shout out to, Ryan Bolby, coming through with the All-Star tier Patreon. Really, really appreciate it. Welcome, Ryan. Hopefully you'll connect your Patreon account to your Discord account, and you can hang out with us in our Discord. And we're always talking Orlando Magic basketball in there throughout the day, throughout the week, during the games as well. So make sure if you guys are in our Hall of Fame or All-Star Patreon tiers that you sign up for Discord and you connect your Patreon account to your Discord account so you can join us in there. Always a lot of fun. And then we give a special shout out to all of our Hall of Fame tier patrons on every episode. And we'll go ahead and kick it off with the Court Cousins, and then Armin, Carson Tulo, Jonathan Borges, Normal, Magic Player History, Julio Bailey, Gabe Gaines, Wiffle, Michael Martin, Jamel Miller, Michael Salapong, Franz Goded Fichot, The Distract, Mo Bamba Yo Mama. It's not OKK to say Okiki. I finally got that right. Pierre A, Migzors, Dylan Holden, Mr. Mikey, Eduardo Sanchez, Drum, Danimal, Dutto15, Bobby Skinner, Goody93, Teddy Sylvia, Eric Lopez, Fuchsia, Juan Geraldo, Bill Fulton, Edmund Lagone, Jose Esquilin, Destined for Greatness, Caleb Pete, Cannibalism, Time Mr. TV, Chad3045, Joe Rothfuss, ESPN Really Sucks, Gear 95 Shred, Junior Barus, Half Rican, and Shaheen177. A big shout out to all our Hall of Fame tier patrons. Luke, on Monday, the Orlando Magic took on the Milwaukee Bucks, and we haven't beaten the Milwaukee Bucks since, I believe, 2018 it is now. They've been kicking our butts for 4.5 years now, which makes sense. That's really when the Bucks kind of have taken over the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. And this game was no different for most of the game, I would say. Really, throughout the first 3 quarters, the Milwaukee Bucks were doing a really great job of taking it to the Magic. Magic were down 16 heading into the fourth quarter. And then luckily enough for the Magic, the Bucks just have a big stretch in that fourth quarter when they went cold, especially from behind the arc, just could not buy a bucket. And the Magic made enough plays to make this a game late, but were not able to pull it out as the Magic lose this game. Looking back at that fourth quarter, you hold the Bucks to shooting 31% from the floor, just 18% from the three-point line. It's not like the Magic were shooting the lights out. They shot 37% from the floor and 33% from behind the arc, but you make 10 of 12 free throws. You go the entire fourth quarter without a turnover, the Orlando Magic, which is a big deal. And you're able to close the gap just enough to make this a game, but ultimately fall 102-109 to the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he finishes with 34 points, 13 rebounds. He shot 57% from the floor. Really was the Bucks' best player by far. I know that's nothing profound. We're talking about Giannis here. But yeah, I mean, you get some solid nights. A great night from Moritz Wagner, 19 points, 12 rebounds. You get 20 and 12 from Paolo. You get 25 and 6 from Franz Wagner. 20 and 5, 2 assists, 2 steals from Markelle Fultz. Just didn't really get enough bench production. Stop me if you've heard this before, and you're just not able to beat a very good Milwaukee Bucks team, Luke. And that was the Magic's 9th consecutive loss.
Not only do you not get much bench production, you don't get any bench efficiency. Caleb Houston, 1 of 6 from the field. Schofield, 50% from 3 and the field, which was nice. 0 of 9 for Cole Anthony, 0 of 4 from 3. RJ Hampton, 6 minutes, 0 for 1. And Terrence Ross, 2 of 10 from the field and 1 of 4 from 3. You're not going to do much good when your bench is, like you said, not only not getting you production, but doing it inefficiently and hurting the team. A bench's role is to come in the game, don't lose the lead. And this bench overwhelmingly was terrible in terms of plus minus. Caleb Houston minus 15, Schofield minus 13, Cole minus 15. Those were the big negatives, the big minuses on the team. Only one in the starting lineup, that was Franz minus 10. But yeah, I mean, you're going to go as either side of your unit goes. The bench has been really the way this Magic team has either won or lost games a lot of the time. And you can look at the bench and say they played well. The Magic had a good chance. They probably were in a close game or won. They don't play well. They got their doors blown off. And the Magic were frankly lucky to be this close in this game. Bucks let go of the rope in that fourth. So
yeah, like you said, they just go super cold in the fourth, but give credit to the Magic. I know people are sick of hearing about like moral victories and whatnot, and I do agree with that to a certain extent. But you're able to hold Milwaukee to 44% from the floor for the evening, and they shot 32% from behind the arc. The issue really in this game, like you pointed to the bench unit, is the outside of a couple of guys, the Magic just were not able to shoot the ball. I mean, 8 of 32 from the three-point line, 25%, 26 of 29 from the free throw line. That really helped keep you in this game, along with, again, we've talked about Milwaukee not being able to hit a shot for most of that fourth quarter. But it was a much better effort, and we've seen this. Good teams, contending teams come into town. The Magic seem to get up for those games. For most of the first 3 quarters, you're just not able to buy a basket at all. and Milwaukee was shooting the ball relatively well until that disaster of a fourth quarter that they have. And you're just not able to make enough plays down the stretch. But credit to the Magic for fighting, staying in this game, a much better defensive effort than other games that we've seen lately, and you're just not able to come up with a victory. I mean, most of us going into this game, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. You're not expecting to win that game, but I will say, like, watching this game, this is one of those like tolerable losses where you're like, oh, okay, it sucks that we lost, but at least it's, you're not getting, blown out, by, Atlanta or Philadelphia, whatever the case may be. This was a much more palatable loss for the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, and I will say, Jonathan, the silver lining in this, like you said, the Magic, are able to keep it relatively close with their fourth quarter efforts. The trend that we're seeing, and we'll talk about it obviously when we discuss the Clippers game, which I'm sure everybody is just dying to hear us talk about compared to this Bucks game. But what I will say is that the trend that I've seen the last three games, the Magic win the turnover battle the last three games, including the Clippers game tonight. So hats off to the Magic. Maybe that is somewhere that we can continue to monitor. The Magic, I believe, the Magic are fourth in most turnovers per game right now. Only the T-Wolves, the Warriors, and the Rockets are worse. So you're playing against these teams that are upper echelon teams, such as the Bucks, such as the Clippers, and these are teams that just don't make mistakes very often, especially the Bucks, like 14.5 turnovers per game. You're able to win the battle, and I think that that's going to reflect a lot, especially with a young team like the Magic. You have to win that category to give yourself a fighting chance, and the Magic have been doing that.
And then the story of like season long, especially like during this losing streak, I know we had, I think Kevin told us it was like 9 straight games where the Magic lost the third quarter until tonight. But even in this game, you only outscored by 5 to the Milwaukee Bucks, and then you outscore the Bucks 30-21 in that fourth quarter to give yourself a chance down the stretch. So, but yeah, turnovers, big deal for the Magic. You win the turnover battle, and you out-rebound the Bucks. Like you're going to have a chance to win those games. So it would be great to see the Magic continue that level of effort. Now let's talk about the reason the people are here, the moment you all have been waiting for. As you might have heard to start this podcast, very excited tonight because of the Magic victory, right? You finally...
Magic win, baby.
Magic win. It feels really great. I will say, and the record in our group chat can certainly reflect this, the first half, I thought this was going to be another one of those games where it really just gets away from you. The Magic were down 18 after the first quarter, are able to fight back a pretty solid run to end the first half. I think the Magic went on like a 7-0 run at one point late in the second quarter, and then the Clippers kind of come right back, score a couple of baskets before halftime, and the Magic are down 9 going into the half. But when I knew, and obviously apart from the run that they had at the end of the second, but when I knew the Magic were maybe going to have a chance in the second half was during the like halftime interview with Dante Marchitelli and Moritz Wagner. And Dante asked Mo Wagner, he said, what is it going to take for the Magic, what do the Magic need to have in the second half? And Mo Wagner said, belief and fight. Like, that's it. Like, you need belief and fight. And for those of you out there who are familiar with I think it came out in 2001, the film The Replacements, starring Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman. Keanu Reeves playing none other than number 16 for the Washington Sentinels, Shane Falco, and Gene Hackman playing the old coach, Jimmy McGinty. When they are playing, I think they're playing Dallas to try to make the playoffs, the last game of the regular season, the last game of the regular season, and the Washington Sentinels are down at halftime. And Jimmy McGinty is walking into the tunnel at the half, and he's asked by a reporter, what is it going to take for Washington to come back in this game? And he hits his chest. He says, heart. Miles and miles of heart, baby. And when I heard Mo Wagner say that, I was like, that's exactly what this team needs. Yes, you might not be hitting shots. You might not be playing your best basketball, but belief and fight is what you need in that second half. And it's really what this team needs in general right now. I think you're on a 9-game losing streak. You've just got to find a way to win. And you might not be the most talented, you might not be the best team, but if you believe in yourself, you keep fighting. And the Magic did just that. And you're able to come away with the overtime victory, Luke.
Yeah, super impressive. Really, second half for the Magic. Like you said, you have that great run as well at the end of the second quarter. So I mean, just incredible effort by the Magic. Like you said, Moritz Wagner. That was one point. That was good to look back on and be like, belief and fight. Like that. That's what this team needs. Like you said, but also they interviewed Dante. Did one of his reporting just talking about overhearing the huddle of Jamal Mosley and talking about what happened in that huddle. And I believe it was the second quarter. I could be wrong, but he said, we just need to essentially look for the open guy. Don't force it. If the shot's not there, don't take it. Terrence Ross said that, I believe, after the Phoenix Suns game. They asked, someone asked Terrence just about, just what went right, what led to the win. And Terrence essentially just said, not forcing our shot, realizing that if we just, pass the ball, we don't take something just to make something happen. We don't need one shot. That's the big thing was, like, we don't need one shot to get back into the game. One shot will never get you back into the game. It's just, one step, 1 foot in front of the other type of stuff. That's essentially what Jamal said as well in the timeout. So clearly that's something that Jamal's preaching and the players are hearing it. It was just nice to see that, the Magic did seem to pick it up, after we heard that that's what Jamal said in the timeout. So just pass off to Jamal for having a word in the timeout, get these guys going. And then I'm sure Moritz Wagner had something to say in the locker room at halftime. He's stepping up, playing a big game, letting it all hang out. By all means, say something in the locker room. Like, you deserve it. So, I mean, just incredible effort by him. Bol, Paolo in overtime with free throws, I believe scores the Magic's last 6 points, all at the free throw line, hits them all. This is a guy that struggled at the free throw line all year, and you think he doesn't know that? This guy knows it, but he knows the game's on the line. He said in the post-game interview with Dante, I just wanted to do it for my team, wanted to hit my free throws and get the win. And that's what he was able to do. Dante said it best. Paolo put the team on his back. And there was, there was a fun overtime.
Yeah, and leading into that overtime, obviously, the bench played a big role in this game. You just kind of go down the line. Mo Bamba played 17 minutes, Cole Anthony 27 minutes, Admiral Schofield 14 minutes, Kevon Harris 9.5 minutes, Caleb Houston played 12 minutes tonight, and they really did play well. You go down the benches plus minus. Mo Bamba was a plus 17 tonight, Cole Anthony a plus 21, Admiral Schofield a plus 14. Caleb Houston was a plus 8 in 12 minutes. Especially in the second half, those guys really gave the Magic a big spark that they desperately needed to get them back into this game. And you're making big plays down the stretch. Essentially, the last minute of this game comes down to Markelle Fultz, basically 2 ISOs. He gets fouled on one of them, splits his free throws to tie the game up with 33 seconds to go. A missed Kawhi Leonard fadeaway jumper with 30 seconds left that I swore was going in. Moritz Wagner gets the rebound. You go back down the other end. You have a Markelle Fultz and Paolo pick and roll where Markelle gets to his spot on the right elbow, misses the pull-up jumper, and then the ball is going the other way, and Paul George pulls up for that 3. And I think all of us, listeners included, were like, oh, he's definitely hitting this. Now he misses it, and they go into overtime. And the reason that I feel that this is really relevant is because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, especially Kawhi Leonard, have missed a ton of games, in the recent weeks here, and those guys were essentially on a pitch count, on a pretty tight minutes restriction. So much to the fact that going into the overtime period, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are not on the floor, and at that point, I'm looking around so we're playing, Batum, Zubats. Terrence Mann, Robert Covington, we have a real chance to win this game with these guys on the floor. And, Kawhi Leonard plays a minute and 22 seconds in the overtime period where it felt like it was close enough that you might be able to sneak him back into the game and steal one. They subbed in Paul George at the end. on that long where they Robert Covington tried to pass the length of the floor to Paul George, but it was a horrible pass and it was errant and went out of bounds. But Paolo Banchero, to your point, put the team on his back. 10 points in the overtime period. He hits the pull-up jumper, and then I think either the next possession or 2 possessions later has the emphatic dunk. And to me, I was like, okay, Paolo knows he needs to show up in this overtime period. He needs to make plays. We cannot let this one slip away from us. And then drives to the rim. One possession later, I believe, gets to the free throw line, makes both free throws. I believe it was to give the Magic the lead. And then the Magic get the ball back, couple of turnovers by the Los Angeles Clippers, including a 5-second call from Scott Foster. I believe there was 5 seconds left in overtime, something close to that, if I'm not mistaken. NBA.com isn't loading the play-by-play right now for whatever godforsaken reason, but I could not believe he called that 5-second call. Kevin Tucker, producer here, he clocked it, and he said it was a true 5 seconds. It was about 5.5 seconds or a little bit over. So it was a true 5 seconds, but you just never see that called in that instance. But big props to Paolo Banchero. Again, 10 points in the overtime. Really lifted the Magic to this win. And the losing streak is over at 9 games. It was really, really painful. The Clippers basically hand you this game, I felt like, by not playing Kawhi and Paul George in the overtime. But I'm not going to complain about it. A win is a win is a win. The Magic snapped the streak. And now, you're home for Toronto on Friday night, hoping to get another W.
Yeah. Dude, in a game where, if you tell me going into this game that Franz Wagner, essentially, let's be honest, quite frankly, lays an egg. Franz goes 6 of 19 from the floor. He has 1 assist, and just I don't know. So it just didn't feel right tonight from him. If you tell me that's the case, Markelle goes 0 of 4. Up to honestly till overtime, Paolo, I don't know what the field goal percentages were, but he ended the game 5 of 13. But it was much worse prior to overtime. So it just did not look
3 of 10 at one point.
Yeah, it didn't look great for the Magic. So if you tell me that a lot of the key players for the Magic just fall short in this game, but obviously the Magic win this game, and hats off to guys like Moritz and Bol for stepping up offensively, because without them, man, this game's a fat L.
I will say Franz stepped up in the fourth quarter in overtime. 6 of 19 on the night, 15 points. 11 of those 15 points came in the fourth quarter in overtime for Franz. So the first, 42 minutes of this game was not good, but those final, I'm not even going to try to do the math on that. Now I look like an idiot. But the last few minutes of the fourth quarter and into the overtime, Franz was very, very solid. The person who really struggled tonight for me was Markelle Fultz. Tonight in almost 28 minutes, 0 of 4 from the floor, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, scored 1 point tonight. He was 1 of 2 from the free throw line. His first points came in the last minute of regulation. When he split the free throws there, you got to make both of those free throws, and the Magic probably don't see overtime in this game. But and then Bol, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 9 of 14 from the floor. And then how could we not bring up Moritz Wagner? 20 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a block, 7 of 13 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. The spin move tonight, Ivica Zubac just had no idea what to do with it. I think Mo hit it 3 or 4 times on him, and every single time he was right at the rim for a easy bucket tonight. I just love the way that he competed. Again, you got guys in and out of the lineup, but having guys who are there to hold the team accountable. And I feel like in the past couple of weeks, Mo Wagner has been the number one guy in terms of doing that. Talking about it, in post game conferences, that the team just has to be better. And but the fact that everyone's spirits were still really high, and the fact that everyone in the building feels like when they do things the right way, they can beat anybody on any given night. It is encouraging to hear stuff like that. So somebody that's unfiltered, giving their honest opinion, hey, yeah, we haven't been great. We're not winning games, but we're going to continue to fight and we're not going to give up. And again, hearing that sentiment before the half tonight was really encouraging to me. As we record this, right before we started this, the Magic hadn't uploaded the player post-game conferences from tonight. I'm hoping Mo is going to be one of those. I really want to hear from him. But I know Wendell is usually like a really big vocal leader for this team when he needs to be. And in his absence, it seems like, I know he's there on the bench and he's around the team, but it's completely different when you're playing, in the games. I do think that matters a lot. Mo has really picked up the slack there, and all the credit in the world to him because he's balling right now.
Yeah, and to your point, it's they did Bol and Mo Wagner tonight were your post game interviews for the players. The other thing that I want to add, Jonathan, is the rebounding in general. I mean, you in a lot of times in the past, the Magic get out rebounded on the offensive glass. They are not reciprocating and getting on the offensive glass themselves. Like, they're having a hard time on both sides of the ball, getting the boards, finding a body, boxing them out. Tonight against the Clippers, the Magic have 16 offensive rebounds. The Clippers, to that point, had 17. But in the past, in the most games, when the other team has 15 plus offensive rebounds in a game, the Magic are sitting there with like 9 to 12 maybe. So it was impressive to me that the Magic were able to get on the boards offensively without a guy like Wendell Carter Jr., who is a walking double-double and is going to get on the boards regardless. Super impressive. You're not hitting the three ball well. The Clippers shoot 69% from the free throw line. Nice. But the Magic shoot 90%. So hats off to the Magic for capitalizing, getting the free throw line 31 times, hitting 28 of them. Obviously, a lot of them came in that overtime period where Paolo just could not miss from the free throw line. Just super impressive overtime, specifically from Paolo. And, despite, poor performances from, players we've already talked about, Magic able to get this win. You just needed one, and the Magic got it.
Over the last two games, Luke, the Magic are 64 of 70 from the free throw line. Like, absolutely shooting the lights out.
How many games was that? Two?
The last two games. So you were 26 of 29 against the Milwaukee Bucks, good for 89.7%, and you're 28 for 31 tonight, good for 90.3%. So over the last two games, you're essentially shooting 90%
what was
from
Paolo?
the free throw line. Paolo I think was 13 to 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went
13 to 14.
Crazy
I mean, that's
tonight.
the Paolo effect, man, in terms of just getting to the stripe. I will say, he's always hunting to get to the line, and I think sometimes I think it is for the worst.
Magic are fifth in free throw rate on the season, by the way.
Yeah, checks out for sure.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Actually, a massive deal.
Right. Yeah. But my point is, Paolo tonight, some of those shots in the paint weren't falling for him. He said, I didn't hit some shots early in the close shots at the rim. I do think that a lot of the time he is just relying on the whistle. And thankfully, and unprecedentedly, don't know if that's a word, Paolo is getting whistles even as a rookie. So it's a blessing. But at the same time, it's like sometimes he drives and it's like, you didn't actually think you were going to, have a shot at that layup, did you? It just looked like you were hunting for a free throw, for free throws, which is fine. It was great. And it has been a huge part of his success early. But I do think that sometimes he relies on that too heavily, leading to things like being 3 of 10. We've seen 6 of 18 games from him from the field. It's hard to nitpick Paolo Banchero. Did one of the things well that people often criticize tonight, shooting just his free throw percentage, going 13 of 14 for a guy that's 60%.
I get it because he hasn't been great recently, but before the injury, he was. I'm pretty sure he was close to 80%. From the free throw line. I know he hasn't been great recently, so it's an easy thing to nitpick about. In the article that Kobe Price put out a couple of days ago, he had a one-on-one with Paolo and just talking about, I believe it was Tuesday actually, I believe it was yesterday as we're recording this. He talked about how in 2 games this season, one against Boston and one against Milwaukee, them sagging off of him so much and playing so much drop coverage is really thrown off his shooting. Because you're so open, and then he said he's even thinking about it too much. But he also mentioned in that article that he doesn't feel all the way back yet. He said that this ankle injury was the first time he's been injured in his entire life. He said, I think it was in like middle school, he had a concussion that he had to miss like a couple of weeks. But outside of that, like he's never had an injury like this. So he's still kind of working his way back. He said he doesn't feel like he has all of his lift and explosiveness back yet, which makes sense. If you watch him since he's been back from the injury, he hasn't looked quite the same that he did before the injury. And luckily, it was just an ankle sprain. I think over the course of the next couple of weeks, we'll see him kind of get back to form. NBA.com has gotten back to form in their NBA rookie ladder rankings. Paolo Banchero is atop the ladder once again in his rightful place, his rightful throne as the soon-to-be rookie of the year. Just call it now because it's going to happen. But yeah, the ability where you're having a bad game and you can literally keep your team in the game and literally win the game at the free throw line is a massive deal. It's something the Magic haven't had in so long. Even if you go beyond Dwight Howard, like you probably have to go back to Tracy McGrady because Dwight was an awful free throw shooter. Everybody kind of knows that. And tonight we saw a glimpse of the game is on the line. We need Paolo to show up. And this is like, to me, the first time in his career where it's like, all right, I'm gonna will us to this win. Like 10 points in the overtime period. Who can you point to other than Paolo for winning you this game in the extra period? Yeah. But at some point this year, we've been talking about this. At some point during this season, you're going to see one of these like Giannis KD-esque performances where he has like 35 points on like 60% shooting and just like single-handedly like willing the Magic to a win. And it's so exciting to finally have that guy again because not having that guy really sucks. We haven't had that guy for 10 years. But tonight, seeing Paolo do that and knowing it's not like a flash in the pan, like we saw these kind of performances from Evan Fournier and Nikola Vucevic and Aaron Gordon over the years, but you've never been like, okay, well, I know you can do that again. I know Paolo can do this again, and that's so exciting and so encouraging. And it's honestly just great to get a win, Luke. Anything else about this game?
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to take just an absolutely massive fat L. I had mentioned earlier that Paolo was shooting like in the 60s from the free throw line. He's shooting 73%.
That's what I was like. People, I feel like lately it's been bad, but overwhelmingly he's been really, really good.
Right, yeah. I don't think any stretch, honestly, though, has been in the 60s. I kind of did some StatMuse work, but I couldn't really find anything too glaring, I didn't think. But yeah, so 8.5 free throws a game, 73%. Obviously, you'd like to see him be at least like an 80% free throw shooter with that volume. It is great volume. Obviously, we know that. He's one of the best in the league already at getting to the free throw line. So he's going to continue. I mean, we know like in the clutch, obviously after tonight, it's a big game. You've lost, 9 in a row up to this point. Those are pressure free throws for any player, young or veteran in the league. So for him to step up and hit all of his free throws in overtime was absolutely incredible, massive to see from him. How many times, Jonathan, does a Magic player in general, or people see their favorite, one of their players on their team, their favorite team, step up to the free throw line in the clutch, and they miss like the front end of the free throws, and it's like,
I saw that with Markelle.
Yeah, tonight. For sure. Yeah, exactly. You came up short.
I'm going to save you here.
Right?
Your boy is throwing out a lifeline. In 6 games from November 25th to December 5th, so like the first Philadelphia game to the Milwaukee Bucks game, shot 66% from the free throw line.
Okay, there's something.
I got you.
I'm still an idiot, but thank you.
He had a rough stretch, but I'm not worried about it.
No, yeah, I mean, rightfully so. And like I said, especially in the clutch, it's nice to know that we've got a guy like that he steps up now in the clutch and shoots those free throws. We don't have to wonder anymore. We can trust that Paolo's going to make them. Will he miss some in the clutch? I'm sure. But every player does. But huge by him to be in this situation, I believe, for the first time in his career, maybe in the Kings game. I don't remember his free throw situation in that game, but I know it was a big game for him. But yeah, I mean, we get to see it finally play out. Paolo in the clutch, getting to the free throw line. Just impressive. He's ridiculous. We know that.
So I've got a couple of other things on this game before we go ahead and close it out here. So one is going to be kind of negative. Bol, great game offensively tonight. He's got to put it together defensively. Right now he is such a liability, just in terms of like at times not in the right spot or just flat out losing his man on 2 straight possessions tonight. I believe it was in the third quarter. Just completely loses Nicholas Batum, who was like 12 feet to his right. It wasn't like they're running like crazy actions or screens, pin downs, anything
Scrambles.
like that.
Yeah.
Like literally just Batum runs a straight line from one end of the floor to the other, goes to the corner, 2 straight possessions. They got the ball to Nicholas Batum, who did hit the 3 in the corner. And it's just, we see instances of this with Bol just constantly. As great as he's been offensively, if he's going to be a starter long-term for me, he's got to figure it out defensively. Like this team right now needs to hang its hat on defense. I don't care how good you are, offensively. If you are just a complete negative defensively, maybe complete negative isn't fair, because like the weak side stuff that he does, like blocking shots, is a big deal. But you cannot lose your man like that on a possession to possession basis if we want to win games. And then my last point about this game, we're going to end it on a positive note here, is tomorrow you get 50% off your online order of Papa John's with code MAGICWIN. It's been weeks since we got to use this code, folks. Do not take it for granted. Make sure you use it. I'm going to use it for sure. I've missed the taste of Victory Pizza. Again, 50% off your online order tomorrow with code MAGICWIN. 150 miles away from Orlando, you're still good as long as you're 75 miles outside of Miami. So, folks, get that Victory Pizza. Take a picture of it. Send it to us. Doesn't matter if you're on Twitter or Instagram. Send that to us. We'll go ahead and share it to our story, retweet it, all that kind of good stuff. Luke, looking at the final games of this week, on Friday you're at home for Toronto, and then you face off again Sunday night at home versus Toronto. How are you feeling about these last couple of games of the week here? Do you think the win tonight will be able to build on that momentum and continue to play competitive basketball? I'm not saying we're going to win Friday, but do you think maybe the Magic figured some things out tonight, in terms of a young team learning how to win?
I think that it's a huge step in the right direction. Obviously, you get out of that funk that you are, so desperate. They were so desperately in. I think it helps. While it helps, the Magic have had a couple of these series lately, little mini series, right? The Magic, have that, the Pacers, I think, and then the Sixers was the other one, kind of back to back. Magic don't get a win in any of those. The Magic need to at least split in this Toronto mini series. It would be big. The Magic are at home for both games, right? So you have to split. There's no reason that you can't split. We saw it tonight against the Clippers with Kawhi and PG staying in the game despite a terrible first quarter, an awful first quarter. You need to split this series with Toronto. If you can win both of them, that'd be great. Jonathan and I would be very happy and thankful for that. But to answer your question, obviously the win tonight helps. Gets you out of that funk, gets you in the right mindset. Like Jamal said, you just need that one win, and then we can take it from there. Take it game by game. Magic are able to do that. If they're able to do that, I think that they can split after what I saw against the Clippers. I know. I said that the Magic would go 0-4 this week.
We both did.
Believe is what I said. We both did, right? And I think we were perfectly fine to say that. It is not, egregious at all to say that.
You're a
but after
Fultz
seeing this showing,
free throw away from losing this game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of 50-50 games on the season. You could have easily lost this game to the Clippers. Just proud of these guys for still fighting, sticking with it after that first quarter. You could have done like me and given up after that first quarter. I was like, oh, here we go again. But they didn't.
I asked in the beginning of the second quarter, can we start recording now? Because I felt like I knew how that game was going to end, and luckily it did not. Luckily, Mo Wagner had different plans in store for us.
Mo freaking Wagner, MVP.
Love it. Yeah, I'm just kind of in the boat of I'll believe it when I see it. Kind of mentality right now, because we've seen the team over the course of the last couple of weeks show flashes of being like, okay, we were playing like crap. We weren't playing with a lot of energy, focus, all that kind of stuff. But we've kind of snapped ourselves out of it. Tonight feels like, all right, maybe we've taken a step in the right direction, but I was still like, let's wait and see. That being said, the Magic have to find a way to win one of these games. You got blown out last week to the Toronto Raptors. Now you've got them twice in a row at home. You got to find a way to win these games. You can't lose all three to Toronto. You got to find a way to win one of those. So, I'll be ecstatic if the Magic are able to go 500 on the week. That would be a huge win for the Magic, I think.
Yeah, got to make it happen. I want to win because we're 6-20. Is that what the updated record is now?
6-20.
Make me 8-20 going to that game against the Atlanta Hawks, who have some turmoil of their own with the old Trae Young. Make me 8-20 before that game, please. Thank you.
So just again for some perspective, we're it was trying to compare this to last season because we know it was just a horrible long grind of a season last year. So the Magic were 5-20 last year, but they did not get their sixth win until they were 5-25, and they win in Brooklyn to go 6-25. They did win 2 in a row to go 7-25, but then they didn't get their eighth win until they were 8-35. So let's say the Magic are able to pick up 2 wins going out of this weekend here. You go 8-20, all of a sudden you're 15 games ahead of where you were last year. Just to kind of put things into perspective, 8-20 freaking blows. Your team still sucks. Let's just call it what it is. But being 15 games ahead of your pace last year, where you ended up 22-60, all of a sudden I start feeling real good about that 26.5 wins.
I was just about to say that. Suck it, Vegas.
Yeah.
We're getting the over. All right.
Is that our goal for the season now? Get the over? I got to tell you, I feel a lot better with $180 in my pocket. If somehow we hit to
win
over.
180.
I think it was 100 to win 180, something around that. If I had to guess.
Yeah. That'd be nice for you. I'd be happy for you. I'd be happy because I like beating the under bettors because they're losers.
I think I'm thinking of the Paolo Rookie of the Year odds. I'm pretty sure the over-under was pretty close. I think it was like minus 110, something like that.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
I mean, I know Paolo's winning Rookie of the Year. I know I can bank that $180. Like, I'm not worried about that.
That was that plus 180 odds?
I'm pretty positive. I don't have Bovada up right now, but it's somewhere around there. Like, it's pretty favorable. Like, to me, it was like, free money betting Paolo to win Rookie of the Year. So, looking forward to that. Let's get a couple of wins this weekend. All of a sudden, 8-20. Then you're 12 games under 500. Who knows what can happen? We've seen crazier things, happen before. So, all right, folks, don't forget, coming up next Friday, the 16th, we're going to be at Cavo's Bar and Kitchen for our watch party as the Magic take on the Boston Celtics. That's going to be at 900 East Washington Street in downtown Orlando. The watch party kicks off at 7 o'clock. Tip-off is at 7:30. Again, Cavo's Bar and Kitchen. Make sure you guys come out. That is going to do it for us. For Luke Sylvia, this has been Jonathan Osborne. You guys are listening to The Sixth Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya. Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!